Hi everybody, welcome back. Another technical demo around the series of serverless application development with the OpenShift serverless capability. My name is Daniel O. Today I'm going to showcase how to develop Spring Cloud application with a function with the OpenShift serverless capability. Let's get into the demo. As you can see, this is an empty directory on my local machine. Let's try to create a new Spring Boot serverless application using kname func command line. This is one of the features of OpenShift Serverless 1.11 or later version. When you create the serverless function using runtime Spring Boot, the serverless application Maven project automatically generated, as you can see. And then there are func YAML file also generate to allow you to deploy this application as a serverless function using knative serving into OpenShift container platform. You can see there are a lot of the specification on your YAML file, like a name, namespace, runtime, and image, and a builder, etc. Let's try to open Java editor to drill down what kind of application is generated during project creation. So first of all, when you go to Java directory, you can find the generated function application and also go to POM.xml for figure out what kind of dependency related Spring functions is already pulled down your local machine. For example, Spring Cloud Starter function, web or function context dependency already generated and pulled down your local machine. So go back to application, you can find the several functions already generated and defined here. For example, uppercase to change your input parameter to upload characters. And now let's try to add a new function for reactive programming. You can define reactive also traditional microservices request response synchronized application as you see the uppercase. So let's try to define the lowercase to use the function with the reactive behavior, like using Spring Flux. So try to define this function as a bin annotation, a return code. It's just like a lowercase with the input parameter string argument. So using flux and a flux map, this value to the values of lowercase. Very simple, but I'm going to just showcase a very simple application to how to use and implement a traditional but also reactive application at the same function Java method. And then the next step and the last step, just deploy this application. But for that, we need to make sure we already log in the OpenShift container platform, such as Spring-func. For example, and this is an empty project, there are no resources I deployed yet. So try to using k command line once again, knamefunc, and deploy this application with specifying external container registry, which we will push this containerized application into that. And try to run it, and then you can find that we're going to use build path to deploy packaging this application. And once in the meantime, when you go back to func YAML file, you can find the image and the namespace already mapped from your command line, and the image digest, it will be replaced once your application push it into external registry. So the log file is working on that, and then go back to here, the image digest will just like that, it's already changed there based on your push the image registry. So knative service is become ready, which means it's almost deployed on your OpenShift container platform. Okay, go back to here. Okay, just deploy and just click the build role. You can find the Spring is running properly. And then let's try to do something fun stuff. Try to add the label your application, because maybe sometimes you need to differentiate the multiple application pod on your same topology view. So luckily OpenShift allows you to have specific runtime labels such as Spring Boot or Quarkus, Node.js, Vertex, something like that. And then now your application function represented as the Spring Boot application. So as default serverless behavior, this application pod will be terminated in 30 seconds without any demand. So application is already goes down, and then next step we're going to invoke or trigger this application using the endpoint, and to make sure this serverless function will go up automatically, just like we are expecting as a serverless behavior. Let's try to trigger the endpoint with the one of the function uppercase, and then parameter the lowercase spring function. So, and then just enter this endpoint and go back to topology view. Your spring function is going up automatically, just like a serverless behavior as we were expecting. So application is running, and then go back to your topology view. It's almost started. Okay, just started, and go back to terminal window. We got the spring function uppercase return code. Try to another access endpoint here, the lowercase, and then the OpenShift is capital characters, just to make sure that the lowercase OpenShift. This is the actual trigger, the reactive application. And then another has to check the function we already saw in our application code has liveness will be returned live, and then when you trigger the readiness and will be return ready, and you can put in any words with the has endpoint such as status, and it will be okay. So this is the three functions are implement our say single application. So today we're going to just using two command line to make that happen. In order to understand the KM function command line, you can have a command line here. So you can specify runtime, for example, Go, Node.js, Quarkus, and Spring Boot, and trigger we currently use HTTP, but also you can use Cloud Event to handle your streaming incoming application at networking. So you can also specify the registry we already using Quay.io, and then you can deploy the application with a specific parameter such as event environment value and image streaming and namespace, etc. So last thing is you can find how many functions already deployed. For example, this one. So if you don't need to run this function for resource saving, you just delete the application using KM func delete command line. You can see, go back to topology view, your Spring Boot function will be deleted in a second. Sometimes it takes more time to make sure there's no network traffic for that application path. Okay, so we already removing our Knative serving based on application. So today I'm going to showcase how to develop a Spring function using KM function command line. Actually, we just using two command line from create the application project for function application, and the second and the last command just deploy it. Just two commands, you can generate application from scratch and deploy the OpenShift container platform as a serverless function in 5 minutes. It's pretty cool and pretty easy. There are more the application capability, and then you can also add your specific logic for your function along with your business requirement. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of the day.